G'day guys, welcome to the mailbag preview for a fat meeting at Flemington on February the 17th.
Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Day.
Can't wait. Hayden from dailysectionals.com.au.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks, boys. Good to be here.
How long have you been... That's a plunge up.
Oh. What are we getting on?
Pinjar race 2. No. Alright. How long have you been in the game for? How'd you start? Etc, etc.
I'll cut a long story short. My basic background is from working with horses, riding. Started at an early age of 13, 14 with David Hall at Flemington. Worked my way right through. Spent quite a few years with Johnny McArdle. Rode breakers with Matty Laurie. And then through that, went back to being a tradesman, being a plumber, and
Oh, tradie.
I'm a tradie.
My man.
Well, you two have a
Fucking
bit
hell.
in common.
And then
Nothing in common with Drew's, you have,
the last few years I've had the luxury and the benefit of working very closely with Vince Accardi, running my own business, Mahiba Racing, and now I'm pretty heavily in the data side of things and do a lot of clocking, basically clock a lot of horses Australia-wide. Spend about 80 hours a week clocking, so
What's your business?
Mahiba Racing.
What's that?
Oh, it's basically my company that I run that provides sectional timing throughout Australia,
Awesome.
New Zealand.
I'm just meeting Hayden for the first time as well, so...
And I've met Hayden quite a few times and, yeah, just exchanged quite a few good DMs on Twitter, which, have to say, the amount of great people we've met on Twitter outweighs the
Does it?
negative ones. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think if you keep
It's
the good
just-
people close and you forget about what else goes on.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Alright, boys. Alright. Let's get stuck into it. It's a fat meeting. It's a really, really juicy card. There's odds everywhere if you're prepared to take on some favourites.
Mm.
Race 1, 1100 metres, 2-year-olds. Now, this Piero BL, that we've all seen the trial. Has anyone got an opinion on this race, or are you just going to leave it to me on Saturday? How sick are you, basically, Drew?
Well, on the review show, I was saying
That's it.
$1.50 for this horse. So
320, bet 365.
when it's come up three bucks,
.com.au.
I may have already just had a little dabble at it. I think Prairie Fire looks a damn good horse. It's, sectionals are legit, and what it did behind a, potential Blue Diamond winner, I have to consider it. Sanglier looks a really good horse as well.
Sanglier,
Yep.
for those of you at home.
Look, there are a few decent horses in the race. We haven't seen this Nuclear Blitz horse from the Hawk stable. They haven't had a really good 2-year-old come out yet, so they're due for one. Look, $3.30 I can bet up. Yeah, I'm not going to be
Bet up.
I'm not going to be saying it's the best bet on the card by any means, but what it did in that trial, it doesn't
Fair
lie.
enough. Fair enough. Anything to add? I've got nothing to add. There's no pressure to add anything here.
In terms of the exposed, the only horse I would be interested from a betting point of view would be Kalasa, number 7.
Yep.
The crossing the Abbey form's quite strong.
Yeah, in that race itself, they didn't go overly quick, and its acceleration mid-race well over benchmark.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be quite interested in it, but obviously wary of the 2 unraced. If there wasn't strong money for the 2 that were not seen, or
Yeah, that's the thing. This Piero Bell will be backed.
Yeah.
But is it smart money, or is it just punters? You know what I mean?
oh, I think from a mounting yard perspective, it would be
Yeah, the
If
last
you-
5 minutes is different. I mean, like,
if you were to tick
from
yes.
now on into Saturday, it's just going to be...
They will back it.
Yeah, but it won't be big money.
Yeah, from an IVR perspective, I wouldn't have this horse Kalasa too far off the better ones in the Blue Diamond.
Okay. That's really good information.
That's a very good push, yeah.
All right. Anything else? No. Flemington race 2,
just-
2,000 metres.
Missed it.
Vobus 4-year-olds and up. Benchmark 84. It's the lowest race in the day, I reckon.
I'm expecting strong speed here. I'd say they'll end up going couple of lengths above benchmark early.
What would you say, Hayden?
Yeah.
From a speed perspective, I have the Mighty J-Rod, whether it runs or not.
That's a
and
big query.
Bubba's Call in front.
Is that the Mighty J-Rod the Foss horse from last week?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But The interesting part from me is that I've probably got 5 or 6 in that wall behind it, which can create a false speed.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I know what you mean.
Where they don't want to lead, but they all want a position.
Kind of, if you watched Yarra Valley today, race 4.
Yep.
Which I might have had a good bet, I think it's $7. Get off. At $7, jumped at 250, and 5 horses wanted to lead because there wasn't any pace in the race.
Correct.
Yep. And it generated way too much speed in the race and cooked them all. And set it up perfectly for the thing that Hayden backed.
So from a speed perspective, one thing that I always do look at is where the leader's going to come from barrier-wise. If the leaders are all drawn in close to the fence, they can sort themselves out pretty quickly. If the leaders are drawn wide and that second wall wants to hold, it can put a bit of false tempo into a race.
Oh, that's a great point.
And another thing that I also look at from a 1,000 metre and a 800 metre positioning is where these horses want to aim for in their run. A lot of horses want to sit 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And if you've got 5 or 6 trying to get into that 3rd and 4th position, again, that'll lift the tempo. So speed, yeah, I would have this somewhere around benchmark to a little tick above.
Tell you what I'm finding pretty interesting. Benny Thompson, who, like, I had a strip out at Sandown, complete strip out. I had a couple of winners, but I really bet hard, which was childish and immature in those windy, firm conditions. Ben Thompson gave Commanding Time, is it that the horse?
King's Command.
King's Command, a great ride, exceptional ride. Then he rode Ouse and Silla, probably got cooked by Ben Allen, outridden. And just noticed he started to ride a lot of weird horses. It's just starting. What that's going to mean going forward,
good point.
It's a bit tricky because I think he's just almost outridden his claim too.
Yeah,
well, Darren's pretty big on
tactics.
Basically who shows up and who does the work.
Yeah, but it's like military style.
And who listens and who does what they're told. Especially when it comes to the kids. And if there's a claim there to use...
Yeah, but like Johnny Allen will, if they jump clean, will just ride 2 pairs further forward than what he was.
Yep. Whereas,
like on Aston Silla, I've not watched the replay because I don't want to cause any more mental breakdowns than I had on course. It jumped well, and he snicked it because he would have been told to. It wasn't his decision.
Of course.
It's just following instructions to the letter of the law, and that's something that it scares the shit out of me going forward.
Well, especially with a kid like Ben too, where if he has just started riding, but Darren, he probably sees it as a massive opportunity moving forward.
It is, yeah.
And when jockeys do get caught in that 3 wide line, if you sit back and rate the runner and not panic and not ride for position, ride for speed, and don't try and improve over the top of them, especially at a Sandown where they all try and improve way too early before the corner. I don't think being 3 wide is as big a disadvantage as what
snicking it is.
As basically put the horse into its rhythm and don't try and improve when they quicken.
Totally agree. I think anything else to add to that race though? I've got nothing.
I would probably say I think Mr. Churchill and Katootlan are probably the most suited here, but you'd be needing to find a horse from the yard at a decent price to be betting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. From my perspective, Imperator Augustus looked like it went back to the bush for a kill and a big confidence builder. The horse has the ability, whether it
great ability. I think we backed it at Sandown.
Yeah,
Pakenham, didn't we, Drew?
Yeah, Pakenham when they rode it terribly.
Really nice horse, but again, tactics costed that race.
Tactics and
I think you got to be pretty brave to bet into race too.
Yeah, price wise, Midas Man and Bubba's Call. What sort of price?
No idea.
I think Midas was about 10s, which looked a bit short to me when I was having a look. So I'll just pull up the markets now just to get us informed on this one. Give us a moment.
Midas Man's Big Pat's Pontiac's nommed at Bendigo on Saturday too, by the way, because I've looked at that because Lips Arios, the old boy's horse, is in at Bendigo.
$19 Midas Man and $31 for Bubba's Call.
They're 2 horses where I'd be slightly interested in, especially Midas Man. I think that form out of that race at Moonee Valley will hold up.
Yep. What I would say is just, I think Velox, David Hayes said it was finally getting fit last start. It had a very slow race, as in they didn't run along early, and it wasn't really suited. It may improve on.
Complete cat.
Yeah, I'd just watch. This isn't an overly strong race. I'd just watch for a bit of money around for it, and if it improves in the yard.
Right, let's fire up. Race 3, 400 metres, 3-year-old fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares, benchmark 84 again. Hayden, take us away.
From my perspective, is there a better stable in Melbourne at the moment, strike rate rise, than Enver Jusovic? These
wouldn't be.
horses
No,
are
no.
flying.
There
These
wouldn't
horses
be.
are even improving trial-wise. They are flying in the trials. And Shearing's last win at Caulfield was super.
Yep, agree on that.
From an IVR benchmarking point of view, it was in the high threes, pushing the fours, and did suffer a mid-race slowdown of around 3 lengths. So the run was better than it looked.
Better than Mamselle Tess's run?
Mamselle Tess,
From a data man's point of view?
yes.
Because I'd have it the other way.
From a data point of view, I would have the difference between the two about a length to a length and a half.
It's very cool. What I would say about this race is they're going to run it along out front. You've got a few speed angles. I don't think you're going to have a slow tempo out there, so that's going to suit Shearing in terms of, I think, Mamselle Tess has to lead with Spanish Reef. There's also Miss Adequate as well. I think you're going to have the speed on. You're going to have a true test of ability here. I'd say I think Mamselle Test, I'd probably, just as Dicko said, I think what it did last start, you had to be a really good horse to do. So if there's any indication that the track's favouring those closer to the speed, then I would be definitely leaning that way. But once again, it's hard to get a tell by race 3. Shearing has to go back and run on. That's the only issue with it. But if you're going to do that, Flemington's the place to do it. I would say Ma Jones is a good horse as well. I'd be interested in, what it can do here off 300 days off when it ended last prep in a Group 2.
Chop King Jr.
Exactly. He's flying at the moment as well.
At the moment.
Well, he continues to fly.
Well, did he touch the ground, did he?
Oh,
Hey?
fair point, but
From a sectional point of view with Ethan Brown, because I do hear a lot on the show of the rap on him, and it is quite high. From a sectionals
It's
point of
extremely.
view,
It couldn't be higher of an apprentice.
I
am
think
borderline
he's
in
an
love with him.
elite judge of pace.
Spot on. That's why it's good.
And when I watch him ride, I really relate him back to the Chop King himself, because he can be patient. He can let it all unfold. And very, very rarely will you see Ethan Brown try and improve over the top of them when they quicken.
Yeah.
He will hold his ground and he will let his horse work into a race.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty special kid, and he seems like the ego might not be as big as some, and he seems like a pretty hard worker.
Right, he's down to earth, guys. He's real small, so he's going to be able to keep riding. I'm worried about Benny Allen, who I also think's really good.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
The only other thing to note from this race would be
Like Benny Allen will be playing on half-back flank sort of thing, whereas the Chop Kings, he's roving or he's a forward
Yeah.
pocket.
the starting
Probably
centre.
roving. Not even centre. He's too small to be centre.
There's no real known leader in the race.
Anyway, we need to speed this up a bit. Look, I think Mamselle Tess ticks boxes, Takiato ticks boxes, and Shearing ticks boxes. But it's not a race I'm overly keen to bet into. They are coming up, though, let me tell you.
yep, they definitely are.
Race
agree with
number 4 over the mile. Benchmark 84 again. They're popular, aren't they? The Goodwood Racecourse Handicap.
This is probably the most interesting race of the day for mine. I can see them crawling along potentially here. Now, this is the type of race where I think you can...
Head to Moraltown, I reckon.
Oh, really? We're approaching it, but I wouldn't say the M word. I think just So Poised gets just the absolute perfect run. It's coming off a massive run. Maps well.
Mel 'em off, the rat on.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't worry me.
Worries me a lot.
The main chances, I think Downhearted with the 7-day backup gets the ideal race here as well out front. At those two, they're about $7 each. Now, Kings Will Dream, they've got about $2 here. I would be, if I was backing those two, who at this moment I'm looking at, I have a feeling Downhearted might be scratched, personally. I would be surprised if they back it up, but I really like So Poised, but geez, King Will Dream, I'd maybe have to be savouring or something like that, because
So you're
the
not
wrap's
against
on
it?
I'm not against it. I'm not saying
I
it's a
spoke
lay
to
here.
Walshy about it
Yeah.
today, and he was very, very excited about it. Probably because it started at the Bull,
Yeah.
which he hasn't. Jonathan Walsh has a severe attachment to anything from Warrnambool.
Yep.
Personally, yes, So Poised, agree. Kingswood Dream, good horse, very scared of. Downhearted, definitely in there. But I think No Show at $10 each way is like a sexy bet. I'm gonna have I'll probably if I get $10 at 9 AM, I'll definitely.
Yes.
I'm happy to have it $10.
What I'd
This
say,
run was really strong last start. It paraded with heaps to come. Not heaps to come, but like it was going to improve off that run. Like the way that it'll position with D done on.
yeah. From the barrier, it could position further forward than last start as well, potentially.
Just get a soft run.
Yeah.
My mark on No Show last start was I would completely forget it went around last start.
Yeah.
To my eye and to the clock, the horse appeared flat. There was a lot of knocking on Dwayne's ride on the horse, but Dwayne's very smart with the feel of a horse, and that's why he is so highly regarded by the Hawk stable. And if that horse came out of the barriers and went 200 metres and Dwayne didn't feel right, he would have really looked after it. I would forgive it and completely forget it, and I think the market's forgotten it. And I would go if it's
Well, maybe we shouldn't have talked about this so much if you're on as well.
run first up at Sandown, which was
I'm going
outstanding.
to just try and get some of the tens now. With my missus.
My view on the race is I think the race itself is a flip of the coin. I think if So Poised is not flat off its Moonee Valley run, it ran big figures.
Yeah.
It is definitely the horse to beat.
What about that run at fucking Moonee Valley when it's just come across and taken out that Australian bloodstock horse, which I was heavily invested in?
Oh, the weird one, yeah.
It was there to win. It won. I do have a slight concern with horses running big figures for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
And whether they can bring it again. Sometimes there's a drop off, but that'd definitely be a horse I'd be interested in. My knock on Kingswood Dream will be he's yet to do it.
Yep.
He's yet to post a figure that's anywhere near winning this race.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you've taken $2 on potential.
I'm really enjoying having you on the show.
Me too.
Race 5, 1200 metres, benchmark 90. This is a hard race, boys. Who's brave enough to tip one here?
I'll give it a go, but I wouldn't be saying that I'm overly confident. I think there's going to be true tempo in this, as I'm sure Hayden will probably come to. You've got some quality horses here. I'd probably lean to Nasdaq's having the most to come out of that really good last start run. It may have had every chance, the position it took, but I think the times were sound, and I think it's got a little bit more improvement to come. Meridian Star's an interesting one. Like to see what it can do. Bit of an issue coming back from a Sapphire Coast race, though. Hanson Thief, is in my corner, but I think this is a tough race to be taking the shorts on it. And Ken's Dream, I think, has to improve again this start, but, it's doing everything right, and, we will have it going really well for this. So I don't think it stops there. I think Lucky Liberty's a really interesting runner.
Agreed.
I know they had it peaking ready for that Christmas run. 50 days since that run where it didn't win. Leodora is just a horse I want to take on. I think it got its win last start out in country grade and it's not really that well suited here. Atlantic City's another. This is a really deep race. Lots of chances. Late Charge is the final one I'd touch on. 3 lengths off in Group 1s before it got injured. 900 days off. What's it going to show in the yard?
Yeah, I'd perfectly agree with you. Very compressed race. I'd have it down to as many as probably 8 chances.
Yeah.
And all 8 chances within a length or so of each other. What I'm finding with these straight races at Flemington, are you finding that they're very reactive? Everyone seems to be sitting around and watching, and it seems like a chain reaction of reaction.
Well, what I'd say on that is I think there's very much been... The inside was good for 2 meetings, and then the outside they've started to go to, but then the inside was still okay, and they have been really reactive in jockeys not making a decision where I want to go straight away.
Yep.
Whereas, tell you what, you watch the later sprint races, you watch where Red Zell will be placed, there'll be there will be an immediate decision on where Red Zell's going to go. So, and as you're probably saying, there will be a reaction to that as well. So jockeys are really waiting for one horse to just kind of tell them.
Correct. My perspective on the race is I think the speed will be even. I don't think there'll be too much of a fight for position and many jockeys going for that. My most hated is the cover. I'd much prefer to be in the open air.
Yeah.
and riding a horse to its natural tempo, not being reactive to what everyone else is doing around it. Horses that I'm not really that keen on. Handsome Thief's definitely not one of mine. He's one of those gets 2 to 3 lengths out of the race, fastest sectionals of the meeting.
He's drawn awkward this race too.
He's just not one of mine. I'd like to see the Weir stable put him into the race and see what he's made of. He can run big figures. He's not getting anywhere near them, even though he's running the sectionals that everybody's talking about. The horse from the race who I'd be most interested in from a betting perspective would be Atlantic City.
Yep.
Loves the elite straight line speed. I think it's a nice horse. I think it's on the way up. And the other one who I would be interested in, but would not be interested until the mounting yard, would be Portman. I think he's a serious horse. If he's wound up and ready to go, probably the other one would be Oak Door, how he come back from the Gold Coast campaign, because previous to that he can run some figures that can really put him into this race. And Oak Door's probably going to be the one that you've got to run past, and I'd rather be in front getting run down than trying to flash at him.
Interesting point you make on Portman, because obviously Danny O'Brien, they normally have them going for this type of, it's first up here today, isn't it? D. Oliver on board as well. He normally will only take a ride for them first up if the horse is ready to go. So I'd just say Miss Rose Delago, prime example in the past, and a few different other horses that D. Oliver jumps on. Even if he's ridden it in the past, he'll jump on for that first up run, and it'll normally be going well for that stable. Just
to give you an indication from an IVR,
it's probably more of a second up also. I wouldn't expect him to be ready to go.
From an IVR benchmarking point of view, Handsome Thief and Leodoro would be your on top 2 at the distance range, but you go right down to 10 horses and you're still in that +2 lengths above benchmark IVR range.
Yep.
So this is even, and mounting yard in this would be vital.
Very.
Thank you. I think no stakes each way. If I had to tip you something, but I wouldn't suggest betting here until you've seen them in the yard. Race number 6, boys, 1400 metres. 3-year-old fillies, Group 3. This is a big race.
It's mapped for speed with Twitchy Frank going around again. This is a really interesting horse that I think it's worth just taking 30 seconds to discuss, because huge disappointment run last start. Didn't really have the race to suit, but we know from out the back that the horse was potentially playing up a bit, is just the notes that I've got about it. So I'll be interested on the day just to go and see how he's handling out the back.
Can't win.
Wow. That's a massive call.
Won't win.
Whew.
Chop King off.
That is a big negative. I'll agree on that. I wouldn't say it couldn't win. Aloysia
Won't win.
Aloysia maps
Case
really
bet?
well. Not at the odds. We're not. How about places, mate? You know, that's
Alright,
fair
one
enough.
place.
Well, you need to get a case back.
Yeah, I know.
It's down like 4 or 5.
I'd 1.5.
With the case bet from last week, you're going to be a case down when Merchant Navy finds Rich Charm. I'll tell you that much.
Alright, I forget about him. What have I done?
Were you taking Merchant Navy next start against Rich Charm? Yeah. And I can tell you, I'm telling you, you should lay out of that and just give him half a slab and move on.
I'll take half a slab right now.
I do like the interest in these.
I'll take half a slab right now.
I would never lay out.
I think Merchant Navy,
Could be
just away from that, but
superstar.
I think Merchant Navy is going to stamp himself as... I'll give you how good I think the horse is. I think the horse is better than Nature Strip.
Yeah. That's
Well,
fair
So
call.
who I would put him within 2 lengths of Red Zell.
Yeah.
That's how good I think the horse is, Merchant Navy.
Alright, Drew, race 6. We need to speed this up, boys. Everyone's falling asleep. The content's quality, but the 40-minute target. Come on.
Agree on that. Aloysia mapped perfectly. If it's ready to go here, very hard to beat. Anchor Bid will love the tempo on, based on its one really good run behind Royal Symphony. Paris Rock I just want to take on. I think it had every favour last start. It's a really awkward race. I think I'm happy with the $10 for Twitchy to give it another shot if you're wanting to take a bit of odds, but once again Aloysia I think is the right price if we find it in the yard.
I think Anchor Bid and Shakora are the 2 to beat.
Horrible
Both
map
the
on Shakora.
Why?
Just way far back. Going to have to be really good from there as well.
Last time Twitchy Frank ran in a race, the first 3 finished last and the last 3 finished first.
I'm more just thinking you've got to run past Aloysia. If it's a good horse, then it can. But
yeah, I'm not convinced Aloysia's trial's any good.
I'd agree with that. I think the trial from Aloysia was...
I think you're a drug addict if you're taking... if you're unloading pre-yard.
Well,
at
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Aloysia
not
at that
betting now.
price, you are up there with the sickest pups.
I would want to see Parade well as one thing, but just for my interest of why I wouldn't take the short price for it, its 2 previous first up runs have been well under benchmark.
Yeah.
Well under, where you were going to probably need a figure in this race of somewhere around the 2 to 3 lengths above.
Yeah.
To be in the finish. Yeah, Group 1 horse, quality horse, but I think you've seen last week with Shoals what happens when it's right horse, wrong race.
Yes, spot on. The other horse I forgot to mention is Banish. So
Yeah.
I'll be working around Banish, Anchorbid, and Shakora, looking to find them in the yard, back all of them at good prices, and then potentially have to save Aloysia, Twitchy, Paris Rock. Paris Rock could only look better than it looked last start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on the race. The only horse I've got of minor interest from a really small play would be Neurotic. 2 Bushwinds, Sale and Ballarat have been exceptional. Will not be far away figures-wise from these. The horse who I would want to play from a betting point of view would probably be Banish. I'd be a little bit concerned about being first up.
I reckon that the Godolphin horses are best first up in Victoria.
And you'd probably say they're now starting to turn the corner even on their Melbourne horses.
No,
coming.
calm
No?
down.
Well, I think you'll find.
Drew, stay calm.
I think you'll find the pressure.
He
on-
loves the blue silks. Drewsy loves it. Stay calm, Drew.
If you want
Hartnell
some-
won a race. Stay calm.
If you want some advice on the blue silks, what I would do with the blue silks and what I have done myself is I've completely forgotten that they went around in the spring. I think the pressure on James Cummings to present these horses for Godolphin early, I think he misjudged it. I think 6 months in,
He's a smart man. That's
Well-
exactly what I'm doing.
I think 6 months in, now these horses
Had a
Hartnell
spell, had a
was
freshen in his system. You know
sensational
how he
first up.
wants it.
Correct. And now he's finally got this on his own terms.
But that's also in Sydney. So, like, in Sydney, I 100% agree with you. In Melbourne, it's like a 70%. That's why it's more first up. So they're doing exactly what he says.
Yep.
But he's not doing it. And whoever's doing it, I don't think he's doing a great job. The way they present, compared to the way they present in Sydney, from when I talked to Rob,
Yeah, I'd
it's
agree.
different kettle of fish.
What about that so the one yesterday at Sandown, which was 14s into 6s and
Yeah, fat. I said it
Okay.
in the text.
Yeah.
That's actually a really
almost
good.
still won as well.
That's probably the horse to follow for the week. I doubt there'll be a better horse to follow from this whole meeting and from Moonee Valley.
Yeah, I
Haunted.
think that horse yesterday was a case of
Fat.
another case of he hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, look, no, so but if Haunted had been further along, fitness-wise, it wins.
Yeah, I wouldn't take anything away from that winner.
Yeah, but
That winner was at
100%.
least 2 runs in front of where Haunted was
Yeah, yeah.
grade-wise.
Yeah.
And that really told, especially on that fast track.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty keen. I think these Godolphin horses will present and have a very good autumn.
Yeah, I agree on that.
I don't. A good autumn in Sydney, yes. Well,
Real question.
Aloysia will win and Kementari will win.
Real question.
Whatever it wants.
Yep.
Are they right to take on Winks first up? Winks
Mate,
is
no,
first
no,
up.
no, don't
Look,
answer that. We're not talking about Winks on this show or Hartnell.
To me, it'd depend on where their prep is with Hartnell. And if
Yeah.
they think that good hard hit out with Hartnell is right
Classy.
time, right place, so be it.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing around for him in that space where he'd be better suited. But I think if he is, it's fact that this is the first time he's going to get a really good jump fitness-wise on her.
Yeah. It's
Willie
just an interesting
Beater.
strategy.
Willie Beater, I wouldn't want to even take $1.10.
Yeah. I'm more thinking of betting the Winks out markets for that one, if anything.
You are a
but-
sick pup.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree there.
Okay, race 7, CSH Stakes, 400 metres, Group 3. 3-year-old Colts and Geldings.
Phew, strong tempo, you'd have to
You're a
expect
colt?
here. Oh,
I'm partially gelded.
partially
Are you
gelded.
Yeah, he's gelded.
Oh, gelded.
Just look at the ring on
Gone.
the finger. Gone.
Cooked. All right.
Cliff,
This is a fucking great race.
first one I'd probably start on is just the New Zealand horse, second in the $1 million Cracker Millions. Petey's horse, Petey's brother's horse.
Is this his?
Must have beat this one. So because this one ran second in the $1 million race. So, maybe this is a 3-year-old race. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the
Yeah,
same.
sorry, different race. Very good run. Previous Group 1 winner over 1600 over there. you have to consider embellish. It should be going forward. It should run well. Interestingly, they won't back it at all. It'll be a drifter. I would not be taking it out of the race. Geez, what do you do with Cliff's Edge?
I'll tell you what you do.
Chips in?
You fucking get as much cash as you can find, and you go, how dare they offer up Peaceful State, who's going to be buried fence, a shorter price than Cliff, who's a fucking Group 1 horse, who's won on Saturdays in group races. We've got a horse who's a very good horse, but won on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
What you do is you get as much cash as you possibly can, and you unload each way Cliff's Edge, who was not near ready first up and still won. Gets further. The further it gets, the better it'll get.
Yep.
It'll win this, and then it'll go and win the Randwick Guineas.
Because
I backed at 26 for Randwick Guineas, so please, Darren, fucking take it at Randwick Guineas. Please, God. Now, I will say, I'm just talking a bit of crap there. I think it'll win.
Yep.
It maps to make its own luck. Puntingform.com.au has it on top. Vinland, really good horse. Island Missile, Snowden horse, right in this.
Yep, the Grand Island Missile.
Peaceful State, right in it. Scarecrow's overs. It was backed as if unbeatable last Saturday.
Yep.
Now it's in this race, which is probably the same sort of level. It's in it. Grunt's a good horse, and I have arrived for Mick Price and Bo Mertens. Don't lose on it.
Couldn't win a BM64 before going for a spell.
Do I smell another case bet rolling along? What price am I getting here?
No, I'm just saying.
I just want case bets. Let's bring it on. Come on.
What, to place or to run like top 5 or something?
$67. So there's 18 horses in the field. It's the rank out second. It's as long as anything else. So 18 horses. I'll say it finishes top 10, even though it should finish 15th on odds.
I'm not doing a top 10 in this because I think there are
top 9.
Looking at
top 8.
No.
What are you doing?
Okay, top 8's fine, yeah.
Bang, 2 case bets. Do you want to get on the case bet? That way we get you back on as well.
If the right one pops up, if I can get Drew at one of his moments.
You got to catch him.
Yeah.
You got to just stick your hand out when you're on camera and your hands out. You got to sort of.
You can't let him hang.
Manly instinct takes over, and you've got to shake that hand.
Yeah.
What do you think of Cowcow? I think it's probably the worst price runner in the race, just because I don't think it's going to be suited by the barrier. I think it really is the type of horse that last start it showed when it just led, had free air, it wasn't green, it could just do what it wanted to do. Whereas I have a feeling just covered up, it won't be suited. What are your thoughts on that runner?
I think it's fucking legless in this.
I think Cowcow's, if they want, he's got the early speed to lead.
Okay.
But they'll chew him up.
I think they'll jump neutral.
Cliff's Edge out of 13 is the perfect gate for the horse. Cruise along at its own speed.
Yeah.
Did Johnny Allen get off his suspension actually?
Didn't hear.
I'd certainly lower my confidence if John Allen got off Cliff's Edge.
Especially with 15 other runners in the race and all riders booked. You might end up 10.
Quarter of the... Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll just have Chop King Jr. going.
I'd double it then. I'd double it for a little chop stuff.
No, I think they did say they had a replacement already ready to go.
I hope it's the Chop King.
I think Cliff's Edge... Cliff's Edge basically went to somewhere where it's never ever been first up.
Yeah.
The win was outstanding. From an IVR benchmarking point of view, it was a clear PB. So career best performance, and that was first up. The horse is going to a new level. How high is that level? He's heading into the 2 to 3 length range. If he has another 2 to 3 lengths in him, he is heading into the Doncaster sort of category.
Yeah.
He's a serious racehorse. How does he go second up off a career best?
Yeah.
Would be my only concern. How much do they look after him?
Because he's never strung 2 good races together, 2 winning races together.
That would be my only concern with him. Do I want to back him? Probably not. Do I want to bet against him? Definitely not. Worst case scenario, he'd be a neutral for me in the race. I think there's a lot of horses with upside. My interest level between 5 or 6 of them might be to who needs to win to get into a Guineas. But in saying that, I think it's a pretty even race. Peaceful State might be the horse who was just too flashy run on.
Yeah, but Peaceful State's got the same problem as Cliff's Edge.
Correct.
Coming off a career peak, I'd assume.
Peaceful State was...
I
no,
reckon
that's
it's-
not a career best for
Yeah,
him.
Guineas would have
That
been
was
better.
actually
Ah.
second best. His win...
Oh.
He's second at Sandown.
My
on
opinion-
the 11th, on the 18th of the 11th was actually a better IVR performance.
Yeah,
than
that was the
win.
Guineas run.
In my humble, for what I know, yard opinion, I'd say that Peaceful State was one run further ahead than Cliff's Edge was in the yard. And I
Yep.
think Cliff's had a jump out and in between,
Yep.
where he smashed him. Robin, my sort of surrogate mother down here in Victoria, who's a part owner in Cliff's Edge now. I'm pretty sure that's what she said to me. I should have checked it before I came on, shouldn't I?
Mm.
Next time. We're getting more professional every
Tell
week.
you what, let's
but-
check it before we bet.
If
Yeah.
you want to be from a betting point of view, the horse who I would be interested in, and probably only on a place line, would be the horse who's coming over from Adelaide, Eclair Sunshine.
Yep.
Early last prep, they were talking about him as being a genuine Guineas horse. They got away from him in Adelaide. He was basically in a position where he could not win.
Drew's gone.
I like the
It's gone on
run,
Betfair debate.
but basically, if Cliff's Edge climbs off last start and only goes forward, if he's been down to the beach for a week and he's ready to rumble, they just won't beat him.
I'm not sure where he's been, so I don't want to say, but I think yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Alright, race 8. Race 8, guys, is the Black Caviar Lightning over 1,000. It's a group. Race 8, the Black Caviar Lightning over 1,000 metres. Group 1, weight for age. This is a hot race.
Lots of tempo on.
You go,
1,000
take us away,
metres.
Druzy.
I'm really keen here to be backing Formality. I think this is a horse that has elite form, 1,000-metre horse in my opinion, 53.5 kilos, Merchant Navy form, which I know you boys like.
You're confusing the shit out of everyone.
$10 I think is more than the right price for this horse on the up. Very happy to take on the likes of a Haydock, Red Kirk Warrior, even my mate Rock Magic. I do want to be saving on Red Zell here. I think it's the obvious elite #1 sprinter in Australia at the moment.
So what's your bet look like then?
Well, I can have...
I don't think save. I think just have a bit on it if you like it and let it roll.
No, you've either got to go each way or...
Yeah, each way.
I have Red Zell clearly at the top at the moment. I have Formality really close to it. So I want to be backing both of them. I really don't think... I don't think I get beat back in those, just on my numbers.
Alright, well I'll have a case bet with you. I'll have Super 2 and Cepedo to finish. One of them has to finish in front of Formality. They double your price, so that's a fair bet.
I'm very happy with that one, yeah. That's fine.
3 case bets in one show.
Oh!
Alright. Obviously Red Zell's a quality horse. Haydock scares me. Red Kirk, I'm not sure what's going on. I want to back Supedo and Super 2. I think they're both 1,000-metre horses, which is what I want to find. I love Mick Kent, and I love Super 2 over 1,000.
Cepedo's proven at the track as well.
What price would Cindy Kitty be in this race?
Oh, it'd probably be...
7s.
I think after last up failure, it'd probably be not that it was a failure.
If it didn't fail last start.
First up in this, what price would I price it at? I'd price it 20 to 1, but
What price are the bookies?
Probably 10s.
I'd say 10s or
I'd
less.
probably open it up at about $7 and
Yeah.
take it from there.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Super 2. I'm Super 2 and Supedo.
Can I just quickly touch on Miss Rock from the yard is a really interesting one to look out for. And Terra Vista, what it did to end last prep, it may not be a 1,000-metre horse, that's the only issue.
Yeah, it got there late over 1,200.
But its last win was 1,000
And
metres.
we found it in the yard, so we'll just wait.
Yeah.
What have you got?
I think Red Zell, we got a new Red Zell now because now we look at him as the premier sprinter. He's now become elite level. With these straight races, I find that once horses do hit that elite level, everyone rides to the reaction, and McAvoy is very, very good at dictating everything that goes on around him. I think McAvoy will sit just off the lead speed. I think the leaders are going to wait for him to move, for them to go, and I think those off his back are going to do the same thing. What does that mean for the rest of them? I'd like to see someone really rip into the race and take them on. I think the horse who can do that, and if you pushed me into him from a mounting yard perspective, would be Ball of Muscle.
Yep.
I would like to see him really get out and rip. His win at Flemington down the straight was
Big, yeah.
big. It was big figures. Also, his third at Randwick prior to that was big figures. He boasts very big figures first up. And if he was to reproduce his figures from previous first up campaigns, I would have him slightly ahead of Red Zell.
No. Okay.
1-on-1 on a first up. If you walked into the yard and said to me that Red Zell looked 70%, I would be a little bit concerned about that if you walked in and said Ball of Muscle was ready to rumble first up. The other horse who is forgotten, he is a lock for a 4 to 5 above the IVR benchmark style of figure down the straights, Terra Vista. If he's wound up and ready to go, he will give them a shake.
They rarely send Terra Vista out when it's not ready to go as well, you'd probably say.
Correct, and Terra Vista's one of those horses where if only we knew which one the grand final was.
Sorry.
He's going to pull you off on
The
this.
mailbag has a policy that if someone says, like, it's obviously it's an opinion game.
Yep.
And I've fucking coached Drew out of this. It's taken like a year. You can't.
I still said it last night on
said it last
Facebook.
night. You can't say correct. You got to say I agree. Because this guy just does it all the time.
I agree. I agree. Haydock runs big figures. Haydock's now prepared and presented as a 1,000-metre horse, 1,200-metre horse. They know with that horse the only way to ride him is aggressive.
Was it last prep that they turned it around?
Yes.
Yeah, so look, they turned it around and it won at 1,200 last prep.
Correct.
Within a prep.
So
now one of the best trainers in Australia has had a whole spell to set it for a sprint prep.
Exactly right.
Fucking scary.
And he is a genuine
Star.
Genuine Group 1 horse and runs big. This is not a cut and dry Red Zell just goes out and wins. If they've got the TJ in the back of their mind with Red Zell and they think they're going to pinch Group 1s along the way, they're just not going to run over these sprinters.
That's sort of what I'm saying. Super 2 and Sapedo. I'm just obviously...
I think you're going to get extraordinary odds about the horses
I'm just
that you
thinking,
like.
These guys are just... They know they're not going to the TJ.
Correct.
This is their grand final.
Yeah.
I'll confirm it in the yard, but they could be ready to fucking go.
Anyone who thinks $1.80 is gravy is kidding themselves.
Well, why are you backing it?
I'm not saying it's gravy. I'm saying I still think it's a damn good horse. It's a horse to beat. I think it's about the right price where it should be. It's probably... I think
it'll start $2.
I think you get up to twos, but
what do you think?
I think with the corporate bookmakers being allowed to open up their markets early in the week and the general public being allowed to step in and get on before everyone else does.
Well, what does it bet for SP? I'm going $2.30.
You'd be
$2.12.
I can't see him getting in the
I'll take $2.14 and above case bet.
We've got another one.
Yeah, 4 case bets, one show. How good's this?
I can't see him hitting the black. I just can't see it.
I don't even care.
You're talking about the best sprinter in the country.
So I get another case.
I think from a betting perspective, if you like horses like Ball of Muscle, Terra Vista, Super 2, horses that you've mentioned, you're going to get a better place price on them than you are this to win.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, that's a super point. You've been enormous on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you on. I did expect a little bit more out of you earlier, though, like Vince stuff, because he's obviously taught you a fair bit. I thought when you came on, you'd be like, I am fantastic.
I'm Mini Vinny.
Yeah, he's always just so he's high on life, Vince.
Yeah,
he's very high on life, as I am. But yeah, I just think if I was looking to bet into the race, which I will be, I haven't made up my mind yet, and the mounting yard's going to be what makes me bet into the race. You give me the 2 horses outside of Red Zell who are
lining up with what you're thinking, and you're going to have a nudge, a little crack.
Who would it be?
Yeah, that's the horses you've mentioned: Terra Vista, the Ball of Muscles.
If I had to have a bet right now.
No, I'm saying if I find the horses which line up to the horses that you've sort of highlighted, the Haydocks, the Terra Vista, the Ball of Muscles, you might have a crack.
If I got a result on, especially Ball of Muscle, Haydock, if I could get a genuine place price around that 250, 260 mark or higher, which I think I might get with Ball of Muscle, I'd be really happy to back the 2 of them at a place price to make a profit.
All right, race 9, 400 metres, just a standard race. Finish it off with, just because we have to stay around for it.
Yeah, they haven't missed Manalo Blahnik in the betting. It's been smashed into 360. I liked it clearly on top in a race that, has a lot of speed. Glen Rowan Prince was massive last start. what it did.
Glenrowan Prince was severely advantaged by the track and the pattern.
Agreed on that.
And
yeah.
you'd be stupid to take anything shorter than what it SP
Definitely,
last start.
yeah, definitely not going to be taking that. I think Royal Rapture's a horse that can really improve here. Nozomi's a horse that I think it's, last few preps, you've got to consider it. It goes really well early in preps as well. And even Radipole, if it looks well in the yard, is one that I could find. But once again, I think the price is too short for Milano to be jumping in right now. Yard would dictate to me here.
All right, we're taking too long. My number's 15 from 16 from 7 from 8. That's Runson from Manolo Blahnik from Chamois Road from Nozomi.
From a benchmarking point of view, IVR-wise, we made it pretty clear on our podcast last week that Manolo Blahnik went somewhere he's never been before.
Yeah.
And put himself into group calculation and right in it too. My question with him again, I'm very big on this, is
Can he back it up?
can he do it again? This is a big PB.
Yeah.
And it's 3 to 4 lengths outside of where he's ever been. Has the horse just clicked?
He was at the top
You're
of the
gonna
yard
find
as well.
out. You're really going to find out with this horse. If he repeats last start, he just simply wins.
Yep. Exactly.
Nothing will get near him. From horse of interest, you'll probably get decent odds on the day. Forgive last start. Go back 2 to the Hillside Run where it runs second. Whatever odds you're getting, Runson on an each way line.
Good.
I'd be quite happy to look there. To me, this looks like one of those Flemington races. Last on the card, you're either going to have Manolo Blahnik hard in your quaddie, or you're going to see that 20 to 1 winner jump out of the ground and go, how did that win?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
It looks like one of those races. There are horses here who just jump out of the ground. They do it once to us. We can't find them. We never
Pure
do it
Pride.
again. Pure Pride's one of them.
Did get lame though.
Zabrins is a very consistent horse who puts a figure into this race where he puts himself in there. Horses like Radipole, Coldstone, Chamois Road I'd be keen on, but seems to come right to the end of the prep.
Yep.
Whether it can do it again. I'm either chips in Manolo Blahnik, or if I have a reason to doubt myself, probably stay right out of the race.
Okay. Righto, Drew, best bet.
Come back to me last, sorry.
Cliff's Edge. Best bet.
I'll probably have a dual best bet. I think one of the two will back it up, and they would be so poised in Manolo Blahnik. If I had a dual best bet and I could take $1.75, $1.80 in comparison to what the prices are for either to win, I'd be pretty happy to say at least one will.
Yeah. So Poised is my best on the card.
Okay. Value. Drew?
This is a really tough one for value. I'd probably say
Tough one?
Four Melody probably has to be the value.
They're throwing it at us at this meeting. Nocio, race 4, number 10 each way, my value, as well as race 6, number 3, Banish, and race number 8, number 7, Supido, and 9, Super 2. Some big odds. I'm happy to get stuck right in there.
Hayden, any value?
I think there's plenty of value. Whether we can get them up or not is going to be the other thing. Race 2, Midas Man, Bubba's Call. I think both of them are really good odds. Something that I think we get some good odds when horses come from the bush and get back into city grade. People really don't know how good the runs were. I think both of them tick the boxes.
That'll do.
I think Manolo Blahnik's still value at $3.60.
Okay.
And the other one I've got a small interest in would be Neurotic, and I think you're going to get a big price.
Alright guys, that's it for the show today. Hope you enjoyed it. Mountie Mail, can't wait to get out there. I'll be there at Moonee Valley on Friday night, hoping to bounce back from a complete strip, which I think I'm back because I had a $17 win in race 1 there at Yarra Valley.
Yep.
Although then that tortured race 4, but I think I'm good. Then Saturday from Flemington, we've got Rob in Sydney at Randwick, Royal Randwick, for a fat meeting. He's on course. And Pistol Pete over there at Ascot, who thinks he's shooting for 5 winning Saturdays in a row.
Yep.
Anything else, Drew?
No, pretty
Really appreciate
excited
you coming
about
on the
it.
show.
Yeah.
You're
Thanks
fucking
very
great.
much for coming on.
No
You
worries,
got the
boys.
right hand. You got the right hand from Drew.
Not
as
many
well.
people
I
get
didn't
the
get
right
the
hand.
backhand.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, guys. Good
Thanks,
luck on the
guys.
punt.